Why do you think men's mental health isn't taken seriously? Nobody cares. When I'm having a hard time, my friends think I'm being a pussy and my wife acts differently or just somehow changes the subject to herself. You learn nobody cares and you just work harder so you can get some sort of recognition. For the first time ever, I'm having actual health problems which are affecting my day-to-day. My takeaway from all my breakdowns and emotional outbursts are that I need to figure it out and tough it out so I can take care of my wife and daughter. Nobody is coming to save me and it's clear nobody cares. I think there are a lot of men going through this around the world. Because nobody cares what others are going through and will use any catchphrase to make them shut up and be useful. They connect our assumed physical strength with our mental strength, health. I saved a post but not the person who shared it. It was a quote he got from a video. Greater than, as a man, I was taught to bottle up my emotions and not let them hurt anyone or distract them from what they're trying to do, because my worth is only based on what I can provide for others and my feelings will get in the way of that. That really hit me hard because once I read it I knew that was my experience as well. To ask for help is contrary to very thing we were indoctrinated with. And people, men or women, often react negatively to a man admitting he's in pain and needs help if it's not an obvious and bad physical injury. I had a doctor who I used to trust tell me one time I was just going through menopause, and he said in all seriousness, "I shit you not. You need to buy a sports car and maybe find a young girlfriend," and smiled. My brain just shut down at that point and I just wanted to get out. He raised his voice to remind me about the sports car as I was walking out past the staff. Fucking weird shit. And now I always approach doctors with a skeptical evaluation before I trust them. So many are dumb as fuck tbh. Edit. I do want to say that I know plenty of women who have had their very real physical medical conditions ascribed to some sort of mental issue and not being taken seriously. So our whole healthcare system is incredibly sexisty and hurting both genders. Based on my observations, I'll make an educated guess and say it has to do with the man-up mentality. Being emotional is seen as weak and womanly. And it's perpetuated through media and the lack of good male role models. There is no standard emotional education. So you're basically dependent on your parents and friends for EQ, who also likely didn't have any emotion education. If you do open up, it's less likely that your friends will know how to respond in a validating way. Invalidating emotions generally discourages sharing. People of all genders can fall prey to stereotypes and societal expectations. Homophobia and misogyny also comes into play. According to the portion of masculinity that's become harmful and toxic, being seen as weak is to be like a woman, or be gay, i.e. not be a man. This creates a cycle of shame and suppression. The medical community has been overwhelmingly male as well, and psychological help was originally seen as something for hysterical women, i.e. not men. So, outdated societal expectations and stereotypes. We're in a period of change right now, but it's slow and will take time. The best ways to help change move along is to join groups that are working on men's mental health. Take the risk and open up to your friends. If it's safe, call out poor stereotypes when you hear them, and try to get in the habit of supporting your friends. Changing societal expectations is by definition risky, because you risk rejection or negative responses. It's the only way to make change, though other people can't do it for you. Women and minorities have fought for change for centuries, And while they should all be allies in men's efforts to change the culture, they can't do it for men. That's why it's so important to find a good, supportive group of people with similar healthy goals. I've always encouraged folks in need to get psych, male or female. Part of the problem is when men ask for help, a lot of the time they are treated as if that makes them weak or a whiner baby. I used to work in an office with 4 other women. At some point in the year, they all had to take time off for depression. As soon as they said this, they were given as much time off as they need. I ended up having to try and do their roles. It all got too much for me. But when I said I needed help, I was given more work to do. It taken more seriously than it's ever been, and that's a good start. 1. Masculinity in most societies is still associated with strong, not weak. 2. Weak, in this case, is linked with showing vulnerability. 3. Vulnerability is at the core of being willing to be emotionally open. 4. Emotional openness is the basis of developing better awareness. 5. This awareness and willingness to reflect is the very foundation of mental health. We, as society, need to push the outdated narrative of masculinity means lack of vulnerability out of the mainstream. And this means a ton of homework for both men and women. Ladies, here, I challenge us all to sit still and genuinely not judge when guys show emotion, no matter how clumsy or unexpected. And men, I challenge you to take the risk of sharing more, because vulnerability is the ultimate sign of confidence, not weakness. Conclusion. I don't think the issue is that men's mental health isn't taken seriously. I think the root problem is how we define masculinity and the underlying culture associated with it that shapes how mental health topics are treated by men themselves plus within our society.